Hi everyone, this is Jim again. It's Memorial Day weekend and take a little bit of time off to work on my Celica. It's been sitting quite a bit. I've been doing some things, had some things come up that just had to be taken care of. But holiday weekend, I'm taking some time for myself. Now, I have not got this car to start yet. I've had it about a month. And I did get it to fire one time by shooting some gasoline, starting fluid down into the airbox. But what it looks like to me is I tore apart the whole dash, because there was a lot of damage on here from like mice. There was a lot of chewed wires here. And so the way I looked at this thing, I just looked at it like the mice had got to it and chewed the wire. The mice evidence down there. Now, I did put a new battery in here, and this fuse right here, the EFI fuse, 15 amp, that blew a couple times while I was working on this. And then underneath the cowl, there's another set of fuses, and the ignition fuse was blown to 7.5, so we replaced that. I checked the relays, fuel relays, some other relays, and then I checked and verified that I have voltage down to this connector right here that goes into the fuel pump. And what I did today, you can see here's the evidence of all the mice. That's kind of why I was looking for a chewed wire. But what I did today was I went up to the junkyard and I took a fuel pump off a Corolla, and I paid $10 for it. And I could have went and spent $45 for a fuel pump, but they actually had a Celica, and my intention was to pull the whole assembly out of that Celica, but the nuts on it were too rusted. And so I abandoned that and moved on over to this Corolla. Now this here is the old fuel pump. And when I tested this on a battery, it's frozen. And you can see the pickup here was bad. I must have sucked some dirt in there. And then this is the old float. So I have the new fuel pump into the old assembly, and I've replaced the float here. Now this is what's throwing me. It sits like this, so these connections are up on top. Now this fuel pump is in the tank. So what's throwing me is I got 12 volts right here inside the gasoline tank. So there's the connections. This is not even a protected connection. And here on the float, the same thing. This is just all open connections. There's no silicone, there's no rubber on it. These are just wires. And you see they've just soldered them. It just doesn't make any sense to me to have 12 volts into a gasoline tank. So I might be blowing myself up here, and I thought I'd make one last video. So this is where I'm at. I've swapped out. I got a new fuel pump in there. I'm about ready to bolt it down. I'm going to put some silicone on there so I don't get a bunch of vapors into my car, and put it all back together. And I'm expecting this to run. It does crank over. It's got a new battery, and it should run. But let me know what you think about the 12 volt wires being exposed in the gas tank. I was thinking maybe it's a function of the filler tube. There's a shut off on the fuel level. Maybe the fuel level keeps the fuel below the connections. Maybe that's it. But still, it just doesn't make any sense to me to have 12 volts into a gasoline tank. So I hope you're all doing well, and I will talk to you later.